Well, hello there and good morning. It's Tuesday, September 10th, and you're watching News Channel Nebraska. My name's Eric McKay. Thank you so much for joining us. Jury selection is underway in northeast Nebraska for a man accused of killing 4 people, then setting fire to their homes 2 years ago. 44-year-old Jason Jones charged with 10 crimes, including 4 counts of first-degree murder related to the deaths of Michelle Ebling, Jean Twyford, Janet Twyford, and Dana Twyford. The deaths happened in Laurel, but the trial has been moved to Dakota County at the request of Jones' legal team. Jury selection expected to last through today, with 200 potential jurors being whittled down to 12. Jones himself will not be present. He previously made the request to the court. As for his wife, 45-year-old Carrie Jones, she's also charged with first-degree murder. The Nebraska Supreme Court heard arguments yesterday on lawsuits aimed at blocking a ballot initiative to protect abortion access. The lawsuits target an initiative put forward by the group Protect Our Rights. If approved by voters, it would overturn Nebraska's 12-week abortion ban and add the right to an abortion until fetal viability into Nebraska's constitution. Meanwhile, a competing ballot initiative aims to codify Nebraska's current 12-week ban with exceptions. Much of the fight in the courtroom has been focused on Nebraska's single subject rule, which prohibits ballot initiatives from addressing more than a single topic in a single vote. No word on when a decision is expected from the High Court, but the clock is ticking. Nebraska's Secretary of State has to certify the November ballot by Friday. The Norfolk Public School Board facing a difficult decision. Ultimately, their decision whether or not to raise property taxes or face future cuts. Andrew Pfeiffer has more.
People are hurting in this community.
Tensions ran high at the Norfolk Public School Board meeting on Monday night.
We're in the dark here. We don't even know where we're at in this whole process.
The board is in the process of selecting a new budget for the current school year. While no official plan has been laid out as of yet, some options are receiving public backlash.
You're not giving us a fair chance. You're not giving the citizens of this state a fair chance to be heard.
The board has presented 4 options for the upcoming budget. The final decision will be voted on come September 23rd. So what exactly are these proposed options? There's actually 4 of them. Let's go ahead and take a look. I'll give you guys a little bit of a deep dive into what these budgets actually mean and the certain options that will be presented to the public. Taking a look at our spreadsheet here, if you look over on the very left-hand side, it says 2023-2024. That was last year's budget. And if you take a look over on the right side in the blue where you see 2024 and 2025, those are the 4 options that the school board is presenting to the public and are eventually going to come to a vote on come September 23rd. Pros and cons are based on essentially one thing, and that one thing is you're either going to pull from your cash reserves, and by doing so that's going to come with a lot of budget cuts and staffing reduction, or on the other end you can increase the taxes, and by doing that you will not have those cash reserves you'll need to dip into, nor will you have the need to cut anyone in the school district. Many citizens cited a lack of transparency from the Norfolk Public School Board. Given the recent special session focused on lowering property taxes, Governor Jim Pillen said schools weren't to blame for the increase.
I'm here because of the seniors that have raised their families, educated their children, and now the house they paid for, they're being forced out of it.
It's the reason people stand in the city council meetings and say, why are you spending so much money when we have to tighten our belts?
Given both sides of the argument, the board will have their hands full when it comes to making a decision.
They are struggling. Their taxes have gone up, their insurance has gone up, their payments have all gone up. They are struggling to feed themselves.
I am actually okay with increasing the budget because that's just, if you want a good education system, you need to be paying teachers competitive salaries.
For more information about the actual budget, visit norfolkpublicschools.org, click under the District tab, and then the News tab. There you can view the full details of the proposed budget. Reporting in Norfolk, Andrew Pfeiffer, News Channel Nebraska.
It is the time of year when elected bodies in Nebraska have to finalize and submit their yearly budgets to the state. Many cities discussing those budgets now. Last night, the Hastings City Council heard first discussions for their proposed budget for the upcoming fiscal year. City documents show the upcoming year's budget just over $1.5 million less than last year. The city's property tax rate also projected to fall 3 cents per $100 of valuation, which would be the lowest in the past decade. During the first vote, no pushback came from council members. They passed it 8-0. All city budgets in Nebraska must be submitted by September 30th and will go into effect on October 1st. 3 state senators are warning Nebraskans about what will likely be an unwelcome surprise as a result of the property tax reform package passed during last month's special session. State Senators Justin Wayne of Omaha, Steve Halloran of Hastings, and Steve Erdman of Baird said in a statement yesterday that LB 34 contains language that will affect the 30% rebate that property taxpayers would expect to claim on their 2024 state income tax return. The bill front-loads the credit so it becomes automatic for homeowners beginning with the 2024 tax year. But it eliminated the property tax credit for this tax year, meaning homeowners can't claim it when they next file their taxes. The senators say potential legislative fixes include allowing taxpayers to claim the 2023 credit when they file next year, or doubling the front-loaded credit that property tax owners will receive next year. No word on whether or not that would involve calling lawmakers back for another special session before the year ends. A new exhibit at Wayne State College takes people through the story of Anne Frank and a chance to apply the past to the present. Luke Stera has more.
The Anne Frank exhibit at Wayne State College is as important now as ever before, according to political science professor Jennifer Miller.
It's not simply now that we're talking about, but the longer legacies that tie into anti-Semitism throughout the last 100 years.
The traveling exhibit details the life of Anne Frank, a Jewish teenager who kept a diary during the Nazi occupation in the Netherlands. Students voluntarily lead the tours to the public, going through a process of learning and training to tell her story. For Wayne State freshman in Italian Eleonora Cagnetta, this provides a chance to help with public speaking, but also a chance to reflect on her ties to Italy.
Whenever I give a tour, I try to also give my perspective as an Italian.
Cagnetta says that plays a role into her deciding to help lead the tours.
So I felt the need to participate in this exhibition and to raise awareness about the Holocaust and what happened in Europe at that time.
According to the American Defamation League, nearly 9,000 cases of anti-Semitic incidents happened in 2023, an increase from 2022.
Anti-Semitism is prominent. We're experiencing it across the United States as well as across the globe.
The exhibit runs through Friday, and Miller hopes it will educate the community on the message the tour brings. Reporting for News Channel Nebraska, this is Luke Stera.
The Nebraska Department of Education has been awarded a $55 million federal grant over the next 5 years to help improve literacy throughout the state. State Education Commissioner Brian Maher announced the grant at a State Board of Education meeting in Nebraska City. He says it's the largest competitive grant the department's ever received. The grant program designed to support state agencies in implementing literacy efforts from birth through grade 12 with an emphasis on disadvantaged students. The State Board of Education looking to improve third grade proficiency in English language arts test scores from the 62% seen last year to 75% by 2030. A car show in southeast Nebraska drives people and vehicles from all over the area to downtown Fairbury every summer. Tim Hackett was there to check out the vehicles on display and tell the stories of the people behind them.
For the past dozen years, folks have flocked to Fairbury on the second weekend of September for the annual Fairbury Car Show, organized by the City Museum. This weekend, in the 13th annual version of the event, vehicles of all different makes, models, colors, and eras filled the streets around downtown Fairbury. More than 230 vehicles in total.
That's more than we've ever had by probably close to 20 plus cars. The best years were like post-COVID when everybody was just itching to get out, but we've done very, very well this year.
Most of the vehicles had 4 wheels. Some had 2. Some looked like they wouldn't run well on land. Some looked like they wouldn't run well at all. There were some cars from the 60s, 70s, and 80s, and some from the 2010s, and even one from the 1910s. But this event is about more than just the cars, bikes, and trucks that filled the parking spots around the main square. It's about the people behind those vehicles. People like Jill from Geneva, who worked to retrofit the car her dad first bought her when she was a kid in 1972. Or John from Marysville, Kansas, who is part of a crew of 5 groups who have brought their car up to Fairbury for the past 4 years. Or Shane from Beatrice, whose motorcycle won one of the event's custom-made trophies.
We custom make all of our trophies, and I think that's one of the things that people appreciate, because certainly we could just spend our money buying trophies, but we custom make ours, and so that sets us a little bit apart.
It's best paint and best body.
That's Shane's son Jesse, who will eventually inherit the decorated bike from Shane, just as Shane received it from his father before him. When this event began, the car show was not only the main event, it was the only event. Now it's a full weekend's worth of activity, making this easily one of the busiest few days of the year in the city of Fairbury. And that's exactly what organizer John Ebke and his team envisioned for this event in the future.
Cars are wonderful, that's part of what we're here for, but in the reality we're working now to draw in the general public and see that it's more than just a car show, that it can be a community event.
With the trophies awarded and the events concluded, the cars loudly announced their departures from the downtown square, with sights set on returning to Fairbury for the 14th edition of this event next fall. In Fairbury, Tim Hackett, News Channel, Nebraska.